Well, writing this episode was really fun because I'm toasty. I mean, here's why. I'm a little bit sunburnt. I've also had a few drops of sunshine in my cup. So I'm toasted? I guess you could say toasted. Disclaimer, toasted. And disclaimer, this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Hello? But the Urban Dictionary can't decide if it agrees with me that toasted is drink adjacent or means something else. It's like 3-2 in favor of another activity using toasted as a metaphor. However, I really do like this one entry. Let me share it with you. Extremely intoxicated, usually drunk, often used in small, rather snooty suburban towns to describe drunkenness and the stupidity drunkenness entails. After one skinny margarita, I was totally toasted. I was so drunk, all I could think of was cinnamon toasted crunch and pork fried toasted. By Westport Weekend Woman from July 4th, 2011. Hey, Westport Weekend Woman, she sounds fun. Anyway, I'm Johnny Spoiler. I spoil the movies I love, and you stumbled into this show, so who's toasted now? In about 45 seconds, I'll be back with some home video headlines. I have a drink. It's red, although it looks pink on the screen to me, but we'll do our best. See you in about 45 seconds.
Crack open a cold box of wine or pour something cold on ice because it's the Binge-Watchers podcast.
Home video headlines. See what's going on in the world of TV and movies and greater streaming and all that other crap? Ben Affleck and Matt Damon rumored to be in a movie about the Hulk Hogan Gawker trial. Nice. There's some toilet video that has like 17 billion views on YouTube. So it kind of makes you feel like there's no reason to make anything anymore. Just kidding. How shitty would that be? Or how shitty is this? Michael Bay is supposedly adapting it into a movie. Anybody out there still watching old cartoons on the Boomerang? No? Too bad. So sad. It goes bye-bye. No booming back from that. I guess Warner Brothers is dropping the Boomerang app. That's where you got the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, the Flintstones, Jetsons. What else is on there? I don't know. Is Dino the dinosaur? He's from the Flintstones, right? Maybe Popeye the Sailor Man might be on that app as well. I don't know. A bunch of characters are flashing in my mind, but I'm not sure if they're on the app or not. I guess. I mean, that's why. I mean, they're just slipping into Legend or whatever. Anyway, I wasn't going to tell you that much about the cartoon app, but that's what's going on. All right, where are we at? Tonight's movie is The First Power. It's about a Los Angeles detective who tracks down a demonic serial killer who can jump into other bodies. You got Lou Diamond Phillips as Detective Russell Logan. You might know Lou Diamond Phillips. Here's some hits that I like. How about The Big Hit, which is like a 90s time capsule movie? Everything about the 90s is kind of encapsulated in that movie, The Big Hit. Or how about my favorite character from Young Guns, Chavez E. Chavez? Or how about he's in Stand and Deliver? Everybody probably knows him from La Bamba, but how many of you know him from Route 666? Or Bats, where he plays the sheriff, get this, fighting a bunch of bats. How about that one? Tracy Griffith as Tess Seaton. I don't know, Tess is like the psychic. I don't know what Tracy's been doing since this movie. You got Jeff Kober, or, yeah, looks like Jeff Kober. He plays Patrick Channing. Channing is the, supernaturally enhanced serial killer. Spoiler alert. That one was too easy. He's very underrated. He's a really good actor. He usually plays a baddie. McKelty Williamson, or Michael Williamson. You might remember him playing Bubba from Forrest Gump. Plays the ill-fated partner in this movie. He gets stomped out by a horse and carriage. We'll get to that in a minute. Following successful test screenings, producers gave the filmmakers some money and a short amount of time to film a new, more exciting ending because they wanted to add sequel bait to the last shot, and they planned to do some sequels. You know, it would have been cool if they came back for the last Power, or if they expanded on the story. Because, I mean, in the end of the movie, it's kind of like, uh, I mean, I could see how they could open up a sequel because the detective is hospitalized in a coma, and it's suggested that he might be possessed by the serial killer, or the detective might have jumped into the body of the psychic, and then the serial killer's in his body. So there might have been like a switcheroo between the three of them because there is a final shootout, and the other police are not sure that they don't understand that the main character is still a good guy because the body swapping and the fighting scenarios. Plus, the serial killer had jumped into a nun, and they're like, "Oh man, this guy just stabbed a nun." But they don't know anything about the killer being demonic and having powers and shaking it up, with everybody that's going on. Anyway, Stuart Copeland, the drummer and founding member of the Police, you know, Stuart Copeland, drummer and founding member of the Police, composed the music for the first Power. That's why the music is so good. We'll come back to that because that's one of my favorite bits. Um, if you're looking for other movies that are like this, I just thought I would tell you. There's The Believers, The Fallen, The Ninth Gate, or Jason Goes to Hell if you're looking for more body jumping killer movies. So we'll be right back with our favorite bits from the first Power right after these messages. Ease discomfort, deepen your sleep, calm your stress, and enhance your well-being. Well-beings? You're going to enhance your well-beings. Are you hoping to solve a specific problem with CBD? At Mission Farms, they use cutting-edge science to craft the most effective products possible for issues like pain and inflammation, stress and anxiety, and sleep. Many of their products include specific essential oils and other cannabinoids in order to provide powerful, targeted relief. They started Mission Farms because they wanted a trustworthy source of CBD for their families, and you also deserve the same. All of their CBD comes from a small farm in Bend, Oregon. It's one of the premier hemp growing regions in the world. They farm the hemp organically and tend every plant by hand. And for your assurance, they test it for purity 4 times. They test the soil, the hemp extract, and the final products. You can be confident you're getting CBD products that improve your health. So grab our affiliate link and you can try out Mission Farms CBD. Also, hey, guess what? Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Season 1 is coming out. You got the PGA Tour Wyndham Championship, the third and final round coming out. Later on down the road, you got NFL Week 1 as part of the CBS package. And you got Dexter Original Sin and Quiet Place Day Run coming down the road. We have a link to sign up for that Paramount Plus, so you can take a look at that. Or you can spend all night just watching SpongeBob. How about that? All right, now back to the show already in progress with our favorite bits from the first Power. The pentagram being formed by the opening credits, that's really cool. The second scene has a phone call between Logan and Tess, and I think that should really be the first scene of the movie, right? Forget the nun scene. Yeah, they want to set this tone with the 3 powers, the first, second, and third power, and the mythology of the movie. But I just feel like we don't need to see the obsessed nun in the beginning who has the secret to kill the guy. Not in the beginning of the movie. We can cut right to the second scene. I think would be a better opening for the movie. Plus, it gets you right into the action, right? Oh, the dude's pet cat is eating his pizza, which I think is like a very catty thing to do. What a bad attitude. Nah, kitty. Nah. Um, some great dialogue in the movie. No more goblins, no more tooth fairies. The yuppie psychic shit doesn't cut it, right? The detective's doubting the psychic in the beginning of the movie, and we got some playful play on words here. When I first saw this movie on TV, like when there used to be this thing called television, it used to show these things like movies and TV shows, right? And commercials, which are like ads, like I read, but you would watch them. How about that? Um, there was a horse and carriage scene, right? Where there's like a chase scene with a horse and carriage, and the driver of the horse and carriage is possessed by the killer. Also, because the horse stomps the detective partners to death. Like, spoiler alert on that one. then clearly the horse must also be possessed by the guy. They didn't say he could possess animals, but of course the horse and carriage scene is infamous in this movie. And like that's the first thing I saw. Like I turned it on, it was a horse and carriage action sequence that leads into then one of the other police officers is crucified under a bridge, and then after that, the detective is trying to get solace in the church himself, and the people in the church are possessed. Then the preacher or the priest is possessed, and then there's like a big sequence where he's like jumping like Bionic Man, or he's like, you know, I guess the more bodies he jumps into, here's where it stretches. They don't really explain how body jumping multiple times would increase the amount of supernatural powers the killer possesses, but he does. This Channing guy gets more and more powers, right? Um, Anyway, and what are the three powers? Here we go. They're possession, then psychic abilities, and the first power is resurrection, coming back from the dead. And I mean, okay, at one point, the craziest person that he possesses is like a bag lady, but then she's floating at one point and she's doing like kung fu style stuff. It's very reminiscent of like Evil Dead. This bag lady, she's just doing Evil Dead stuff in the movie. Those are my favorite bits from the first Power. I've watched it how many times? More than once, more than first, more than second, third, fourth, fifth. Um, yeah, this is like the fourth or fifth watch go around for me. And one of the things I noticed this time around that I never noticed before is they almost sacrificed like a hobo at the hotel. They have one of those pay by the hour, pay by the day, pay by the month hotels. And at one point, the killer has this really, he has a really like detailed mask, but it's humanoid. It's like a human face that he wears. It's not skin. It's like just a plastic latex mask, probably Halloween dime store mask or something, thrift store mask, Savers mask, whatever, CVS, whatever, right? But it is creepy, and he's chasing the detective and the psychic through this hotel, pay by the hour hotel, right? Nefarious things must be happening there all the time. Anyway, very seedy motel, whatever it is. And he pulls down a ceiling fan. Okay, suspend your disbelief. We've already seen superpowers, fighting, possession, killer animals, whatever, jumping off buildings, a bunch of crazy stuff. Oh, I forgot to mention that actually when I was going over some trivia. Is they had a stuntman perform a jump off a roof, like a free fall jump with just a wire and nothing, no safety, nothing, from like 5 stories. It was pretty crazy. Um, what was the point of this rambling? Oh, so he pulls a ceiling fan down that's motorized, but from my understanding, ceiling fans are usually wired into the ceiling. This one he can take off, and it's like just like a rotating series of blades. So he's like stalking them through the hallway with that. Then they like hide out in some dude's room, and then the guy's sleeping. They push him against the door to stop the killer. And then the killer rips through the wall, jumps over the guy, and follows them out onto the fire escape. However, I'm thinking like the detective and the psychic. I mean, the detective's job is to stop the killer from killing people all over the city, and then he literally doesn't help the guy who's sleeping in the room. And in theory, that he could have been sacrificed, right? Because we don't know if the killer's going to go through the wall, kill the guy, then continue the chase scene, looking for the detective and the psychic, right? So it's weird that they're just like, oh, whatever. Uh, how do I rate this movie? All right. Well, we do this thing called binge now, binge later, or binge never. Um, Usually I try to draw this out for suspense, right, and tell you that like, binge now is you got to watch it now. Binge later is get around to it, but you don't have to watch it now. Binge never is exactly what it sounds like. Don't watch it. Can't get the time back, right? You've wasted your time. I'm not going to draw it out for you tonight. I'm just going to tell you, it's a binge now, right? I mean, I've already done 3 spoilers for you. That should have been in the indication that if I like it, I'm going to tell you. Anyway, yeah, I think you should binge now on this one. Fan service. What's going on with the fans? What are they saying? I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to them this week. They've been hearting and liking stuff on TikTok. That's one thing. We can at least share that. I do have one. Find it. I'm not going to help you find it. Go look for it. Staff picks. What do I recommend if it's not the movie of the week? If it's not the first Power, what can I recommend for you? Well, I tried to watch this thing called Berberine or Berberin or Berry Banana Fanafo Fairy. I don't know. Barbarian or Barbarian Sound Studio. Anyway, I was gonna do a show about that, but I gave up after the trailer. I also skip ahead watched House of the Dragon season 2 finale. I don't care. I mean, they're just doing flash forwards to like some of the best bits of Game of Thrones, right? So whatever. I'm tired of it. It's called House of the Dragons. There's not much dragons. I don't know what those dragon shots cost. What do they cost? What do they cost CGI wise? Every time a dragon appears on screen, it's $100,000. I don't know. I don't know what the animation costs for these dragons. But it's not a house filled with dragons. It's just people, and they talk about using their dragons, and then they don't use them. Except for one horrible death, but that was like in season 1. So season 2 is just like everybody talking about like, let's avoid war, let's go to war, oh, let's fight, and then we don't, and then we talk, and then we don't talk, then we don't talk. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Um. Oh, on the off chance that we get a woman president because there's a woman running right now, I did rewatch Veep, which is pretty much a situational comedy that is very situational. However, it plays on both sides of the aisle because it's more about messy humans doing messy human stuff than the politics. Recommend it. Longlegs. Longlegs is a bit overrated and underwhelming, but it's got weird stuff. It might titillate you. And I still haven't seen Blade steal the scenes in Deadpool and Wolverine and Blade because, I was going to take some peeps to see it and then they blew it. So I kind of lost the enthusiasm to go to the movie theaters and watch it. So I went bowling instead. But I hear that, it's the highest grossing R rated movie of all time so far. I'm actually like really superstitious. Superstitious. I'm having a hard time saying the word even. But I'm going to try to react to the Prince of Darkness movie. I think there's some basic science that if you're watching a movie about curses, you can also get cursed. And then it's evil and generally talking about them. We're going to see how it goes. Listen, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.